Welcome back to another product review here at the Vol Pro Scooters. Today I'll be showing you the process of installing the Ethic conversion spacers. The conversion spacers are sold with the aluminum V3, the Ethic Vulcan, and the Ethic Vulcain box deck. But there is a difference between the spacers, so today I'll show you how to properly install both of them. The point of these conversion spacers is to run smaller wheels on a smaller axle. The Ethic decks come with a 12mm axle that is used for 12 standard wheels, but the conversion spacers will change the diameter, which will then allow you to run smaller wheels on an 8mm axle. Before we go any further, I'd like to address that the Ethic decks only come with the conversion spacers, but no 8mm axle. You will have to buy the 8mm axle separately, so if you don't have one, head over to the Vault's website, look up TV replacement axle. For the Vulcan and aluminum V3, you'll need a 80mm TV replacement axle. And for the Vulcan box deck, you'll need a 100mm TV replacement axle. And all you'll need to complete this process is two 6mm Allen keys, a 13mm socket wrench, the conversion spacers, and the 8mm axle. With all that being said, let's switch angles to give you a better look on how to complete this process. Alright, let's start with the one that's easiest, the Ethic Vulcain deck. I'd also like to mention that this process will be the same for the aluminum V3, so let's dive right into it. For this, you'll need a 80mm TV replacement axle and the conversion spacers that come with the deck. You can now start by taking off the 12mm axle and the Ethic spacers that come on the deck. Now that the axle and spacers are off, you can now grab your conversion spacers and your 8mm axle. The set of spacers feature two parts to it. There's a small spacer, and then there's a big spacer with a cylindrical extension and a flat side to it. The two small spacers go on the outside, and the two big spacers go on the inside, with the flat side to it going against the end of the deck. To give you guys a better look at what these spacers will be doing, once you put them both in place, they should click together, which will then allow you to run the 8mm axle through. As I said, the big spacer will be going on the inside, with the flat edge to it going against the end of the deck. And the small spacer will be going on the outside. Now repeat this same process on the other side. Grab your big spacer, and now grab your small spacer. With all the spacers in place and clicked together, this is how they should look, with the cylindrical extension going out to where the wheel will be. Now you can run your 8mm axle through. Now with the axle in place and snug, you have successfully installed your conversion spacers. Moving on to the Ethic Vulcain box deck, you can start by taking off the 12mm axle and the spacers. For this process, you'll still need to use the aluminum dropouts and the aluminum spacers that come with the deck. Now you can grab your conversion spacers and your 8mm axle. This set of spacers features a small spacer and a big spacer, but as you can notice, it's slightly different than the spacers that come with the Vulcan deck. This still has the extended cylindrical piece, but there's no flat side to it. To give you guys a better look at what this spacer will be doing, it'll be running through the aluminum spacer, through the deck, then through the dropout, which then changes the diameter, which will then allow you to run a 8mm axle through. One thing I would like to mention is that these aluminum spacers do need to sit a certain way for this to work. As you can notice, they have a small ridge on the bottom. This ridge then connects with a ridge on the bottom of the deck, which then allows you to run the axle through. If you put the spacer and dropout next to each other, they should then form a line like this, which will allow your grinds to feel flush. And now you can start installing your spacers. Grab the big spacer, run it through the aluminum spacer. It'll then run through the deck. And now you grab your dropout, run it through the other side, and it should click into place. And then grab your small spacer and run it through the dropout. It should then click with the other spacer. And now repeat that same process on the other side. Grab your big spacer, grab your aluminum spacer, make sure that ridge is pointed to the bottom, run that spacer through. It'll then have to run through the deck, and then grab your dropout and run it through the other side. It should then click in place, and now you can grab your small spacer and run it through the dropout. Once you've inserted all your spacers, it should look something like this. And now you can run your 8mm axle through. And once your axle is through and tightened, you have successfully installed your conversion spacers. And under the deck, this is how it would look properly installed. With all that being said, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to be notified every time we upload a new video. And we'll see you guys in the next one.